Scab for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. Those poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize. Which side are you on?
No one told you life was going to be this way?
Not a single person told me that life was going to be this way.
Your job's a joke.
Mm-hmm.
You're broke.
Your
love life's DOA.
Yeah. However, I will say somebody once told me that the world was going to rule me.
Roll me?
Roll me, yeah.
Is that what
I think it's roll me.
I think that's what somebody had once told me.
Yeah. But I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed.
I mean, listen, we can't all be.
Who is really at the end of the day? How are you?
I'm feeling like an all-star. Like a rock star.
Yeah. Get your game on, dude.
I'm ready to go play,
yeah.
I think.
Weren't you the one telling me that song like was about a fan of theirs?
Yes, I think yes, and they were like getting bullied. That is yes, it's all coming back to me now. Celine Dion song. Yeah, he was getting made fun of for listening to Smash Mouth, and so they made him a song that was like, you know what, buddy, you're an all-star.
You're an all-star in our books, but
arguably kind of makes the situation worse.
Yeah,
I think.
But I will say, dude, like some of those Smash Mouth songs fucking bop. Like Walking on the Sun. That song fucking goes.
God. Yeah, it absolutely. So does All Star.
Yeah, All Star is also a bop.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
The sooner you accept that, people, the happier you'll be.
The farther we're going to progress in society.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
I think that's kind of what's holding us back in this moment is that people are afraid to love Smash Mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to admit, that these like early 2000s, I don't know, what like goofy rock?
Yeah, goofball
songs. Rock is like okay to like, you know?
I would agree.
And sometimes hits really hard.
And sometimes fucking goes.
Yeah.
No, I agree, because I feel that same way about Train, as we've discussed.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that way about a lot of early 2000s
like
pop punk.
Sum 41.
You know? Oh, yeah, Sum 41.
I guess Smash Mouth would be pop punk, huh?
I guess
Maybe.
so. I don't know, actually.
Because I feel like, again, it's like they're almost a little too goofy to be pop punk, because they're not as like, I feel like Smash Mouth isn't as like, we're gonna take our dicks out like Blink-182, really. Like they maybe are missing the punky aspect. I guess it would just be called rock or like alternative, but if again, it feels a little too goofy for me to be like, this is rock and roll.
Yeah, like it's kind of like the Bare Naked Ladies, you know?
Yes, these are two of the exact same things. Smash Mouth is like Bare Naked Ladies are the same
like genre of music.
Yes, where it's like goof rock.
It's goof rock, yeah, because it's kind of pop punk because it's like in that era, but it's also not.
And it has that vibe with like the guitars and the sound is a little pop punky, but then it's not like they're talking about anything like that would be considered like a pop punk.
Yeah, like
topic, I guess.
Yeah.
Like they're not like fuck my dad, you know. They're like
I hate this town.
Yeah, they're not saying how much they hate their town.
Yeah.
Like they're just kind of like, hey, you're an all-star.
Yeah.
And Bare Naked Ladies is like, here's a bunch of crazy words put together. We're just kind of silly like that.
Yeah, we're kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. I'll die on the hill that the song $1 Million by the Bare Naked Ladies, if you haven't listened to it, I think it's just called $1 Million.
Is that the one that's like, if I had a million? Oh, yes.
That song is actually kind of sad if you like listen to it.
Oh, I haven't.
Well, and like, I mean, I guess it's like a goofy song.
Right.
But basically like the whole like thesis of the song is he's like, if I like had a bunch of money, then like we wouldn't live in poverty and you would like love me more. And like, that's so sad.
It all goes back to capitalism.
It's true. Yeah.
Every single time.
I don't know. I really do like the Bare Naked Ladies. I think they're a good band.
I mean, sometimes you just like need that. Like sometimes that really hits.
Yeah, you just need some goofy rock to
and it's like uplifting and you feel nice and you're having like a really good, like I feel like if I'm like in a great mood and it's warm outside and I'm driving around and I need to turn my windows down, roll my windows down, like I would totally throw on a Bare Naked Ladies song and like feel really good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're like, wow.
Or I'm putting on
Walking on the Sun or
Walking on the Sun. And I'm like, wow, life is good.
Some fucking Cotton Eye Joe, dude.
Exactly. Precisely. Which is who? Who made Cotton Eye Joe? I'm looking it up. It's got to be someone like maybe a little bit of like a one-hit wonder.
It definitely is. I know I can like picture the band or the name, but I can't. I don't remember. It's like it's kind of obscure for sure.
Get ready for this.
Yeah.
The song is by Rednecks, spelled with an X.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, see, like, it was, something like that.
Like, they've never done anything else in their entire life.
They haven't needed to.
No, I mean, they hit it out of the park immediately.
Music peaked at Cotton Eye Joe.
Exactly. And everybody else needs to just, I'm looking at their songs. I've never heard of a single one of these other ones. You have Nowhere in Ohio, Manly Man, Fat Sally Lee, In It for the Money.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
What are we doing?
What are you doing? Yeah. You made Cotton Eye Joe and just set it down there.
And I firmly believe that Cotton Eye Joe is a love story about Cotton Eye Joe, and the singer is his gay lover.
Yeah, it is. It has like a Brokeback Mountain vibe to it.
Because if it hadn't been for Cotton Eye Joe,
I'd be married a long time ago.
So,
also, they're Swedish.
Oh,
this band called Rednecks is Swedish.
Yeah,
which, that is a very like Euro
with
pop
the X
kind of song, and like the structure of the song is those like older like Euro dance,
like, fucking four on
songs.
the floor beats,
exactly, and pander to like an American audience, but it doesn't quite make sense.
I get it.
Yeah,
it's like there's this band called the Dead South, and they're like a folk band. They're like a new like dark bluegrass band, I guess. And they're from Canada, which I think is like, I was like, that's like the furthest north you can go.
Yeah, right.
What do you mean?
Maybe they're talking about the south of Canada.
Yeah, they're from Toronto.
Yeah, right.
It's funny. But anyway, my name's Taylor.
My name is Phoebe.
This is Remarks, the podcast,
where we spend a few minutes at the beginning of the episode talking about random stuff so that you maybe can go into this with, an okay outlook on life. And we slowly break you down over the next, hour and a half or so.
Yeah. Similarly to a cult. We break you down to then build you back up.
We'll build you back up at the end with, we say some funny quips.
Yeah, some little quips.
Tell you to take care of yourself after absolutely decimating your mood. It's a really good formula.
Yeah, no, it's been working so far. So, no, for sure. And this podcast is today going to be about some of the shit that's been going on, dude.
Yeah. I don't know if you're aware, Taylor. I don't know if you're aware, listeners. Donald Trump is the president of the United States.
I recall hearing that.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And that's bad. That's terrible news.
Yeah, because of that, everything is ass.
Yeah, no, bad.
In our country.
Everything is bad all the time.
Yes.
As I was one to once say.
As Taylor once wrote a song.
Yeah.
So, we're going to give you the rundown of a couple of things that are ruining our lives.
Yeah, and keep me up at night.
Yeah. Oh, boy, do they. Boy, do they.
And, it's crazy. I don't know, even just talking with people that I know that work for government agencies and stuff, and they're like, yeah, I basically have to defend my position, my job to Elon Musk and make him believe why I am worth having a job here. And it's and again, government employees that have worked for the government for fucking 40 years and stuff. And
in administrations that are some of our most important administrations that why the fuck are we pitching this to Elon Musk of all? Why do I, a decorated scientist of, X amount of years working for, HHS or the CDC, why am I having to defend myself to Elon fucking Musk, who the fuck is he? What does he fucking know?
He inherited a fucking emerald mine from his dad
and then made people build an electric car for him and then shot it into space.
In true fucking, Thomas Edison against Nikolai Tesla style. It just steals ideas. Like,
exactly.
Really carrying on the name of Tesla by stealing all of his ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's been fucking insane, and I hope that everyone is feeling okay.
Yeah.
I know it's a scary time. So, and unfortunately, I mean, I understand. I feel like there's a lot of days where I'm like, I don't know what to do. I have no idea how to help and what to, like, what anything can be done.
I know.
And it's so tempting to just be like, I'm just going to keep my head down and like try to get through it. But like, you know, there's a lot of people who can't just keep their head down and get through it. Like that, you know, communities that are under attack as we speak.
Yeah, very much so.
So I think now is not the time to kind of like feel complacent, I suppose, like
right, and to not like doom spiral, I guess. But I mean, it's certainly difficult not to.
it's hard.
Yeah. I feel like I mean, I'll just talk about this for a second. Since we were talking about the Elon Musk thing, and I'm sure that people have a little bit of an idea of like what this is, or at least they've heard about it. But so, I mean, I think all of us have been seeing like the Elon Trump relationship blooming over the last like a couple of years, honestly. And then, you know, throughout the campaign, you had Elon like on Trump's hip, if not like sucking his dick, basically. And so now what has happened and what's basically been created, this administration, this department has basically been created for him so that he can just like be part of the American government now. Which is this...
He couldn't do anything else. He was literally not qualified to do anything else.
For anything. So they made him they gave him his own little coloring book, and they made him his own special little thing.
It's like when you give your little brother a controller to the video game, but it's like not plugged in, you know? That's what they did with Elon Musk.
But the problem is like it is plugged in though, actually.
It's too plugged in.
It is plugged in, and your little brother's really bad at this game.
And he's driving
and you are,
the car off the cliff.
Yes, and your Halo team is being crushed. So they created this special little thing, which I think is called Doggy? Doge?
I thought it was Doge.
I thought it was Doge because it was based off of the meme.
Yeah.
But then I had heard other people saying doggy, so I don't fucking know. Either way, it's the stupidest fucking shit.
Yeah.
But what that stands for is the Department of Government Efficiency. And basically, Elon Musk and his little friends get to go around to every department, administration, what have you, that is part of, you know, the U.S. government. And what's the word I'm looking for? Like
scrutinize?
Sure. Yeah, basically. And like determine if this is worth keeping as part of our government anymore. And I mean, first of all, on what grounds is Elon judging these things? Based off of like whatever he fucking feels like that day, A. And B, you know, of course, the administrations, departments, etc., that are the most in danger are the ones that are like Trump and Elon have considered like not, you know, they've considered like too woke or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And the thing is, it's like, I don't necessarily think the idea of like making the government more efficient is a bad idea.
Right.
Or like even being like, hey, times have changed. We don't need this and this anymore. We need something that's more modern. But like obviously that's not what this is. This is just a mass firing campaign.
Exactly.
Because they are going to weed out the people who would ever like actually stand against the administration. And it's like kind of looking like a fucking fascist takeover, dude, because like Night of Long Knives ass, because like
how interesting.
I know
how it really looks like that.
Because again, it's not like we have a bunch of different voices and a bunch of different people that are like weighing in on like what is efficient, what isn't, and like what
or anybody that's even qualified to make those kinds of judgments.
It's true.
I mean, I think that like if we wanted to do some kind of like, oh, let's make sure our government is working efficiently. Let's make sure that these departments that we have are actually necessary. I mean, maybe like each department is assigned its own person who, sure, they can be from outside of that department, but maybe have at least an understanding of what's even important and why that department even exists,
what
and
is
like
the purpose of it,
what people's jobs are within this, rather than just like some guy.
It's true. Well, and like, because again, yeah, it's like, why are we're letting one person decide what is important? Like, Elon Musk's gonna get rid of the fucking like FDA or the FDA or something, and like our food's gonna start having rats in it and stuff.
Right. Well, and you know, I mean, sure, is doggy Doge, whatever the fuck you want to call this, stupid shit that of course is based on like some stupid fucking meme, because that's like the only way that like Elon Musk knows how to communicate is like he's just like he like is a fucking robot that is just like memes are coming out of his mouth. Anyway,
because he's a fucking like 50-year-old edgelord.
Oh my god!
It's crazy that Elon Musk's whole team and everybody who likes him is like 15 years old. I'm like, dude, because he's a fucking baby, dude. He's a giant fucking toddler.
He's a man baby. Like, and
oh my god.
But like, sure, is fucking Doge essentially like, yeah, it's a team. It is like, yes, there are multiple people on this, but like in a true essence, in like when you boil it down to like, no, this is fucking Elon Musk's decision based on like what he's throwing a tantrum about that day.
Oh, dear God. Yeah, and again, his entire team is like a bunch of, again, like 15-year-olds.
Right.
I'm trying to think of this story. I'm gonna look it up really quick.
Do it.
Because I thought I heard this like funny like story about them looking into something. 1 second.
Go for it. Yeah, and the thing is like, as irritating and like stupid and, you know, it seems silly, like they actually are already doing a lot of damage. I mean, the CDC has seen a massive slam to their entire department, and it's actually causing like major issues already. I think one of the things with the Trump presidency, the second Trump presidency, we're here again, that really like has gotten me is I definitely knew it was impending doom. Like, of course I did, but you know, we're halfway through. Well, I guess a little over. Actually, February's even extra short year of February this year. But anyway, we're about done with February. And it just was like, it was literally days into the Trump presidency that like things started to implode almost immediately. And I kind of like, maybe it's so naive of me, but I think a part of me was sitting here being like, oh, I think that, you know, I know bad things are going to happen, but I think we'll see kind of how it was last time, where it's like these things are going to unfold over time and we'll see what this looks like over time. And it was like, oh, no. Literally days into taking office, it was like, we're shutting down this department. We're mass firing these people. We are taking, like, the military is coming out and doing these mass deportations immediately. It
was so swift how quickly it like
which
just
was
divulged into chaos. But so the story that I wanted to mention here was so it's this is a Wired article, and it says Elon Musk has repeatedly claimed that his so-called Department of Government Efficiency project has uncovered massive government fraud when it alleged that 150-year-olds were claiming Social Security benefits. But Musk has provided no evidence to back up his claims, and experts quickly pointed out that this is very likely just a quirk of the decades-old coding language that underpins the government payment systems. Basically, what happened is, the coding system like would put in like this random year in like the 1800s or something like that, or I mean, maybe it wasn't that old, but would like put this like random year in as a placeholder, and Elon and his fucking group of 15-year-olds that are like part of Doge were like, that means that 150-year-olds are taking Social Security fraudulently, and it's like, no, it just means that like they died. The computer programs quickly claimed that the 150 figure was not evidence of fraud, but rather the result of a weird quirk in their system, which was largely written by a 60-year-old program language. And it, sorry. Got to find the correct info. But yeah, it coded as a reference point, most commonly used as May 20th, 1875, as this was the day of an international standard setting conference held in Paris. The system defaults to a reference point when the birthday is missing or incomplete, meaning all of those entries in 2025 would show an age 150. So yeah, it's not like if the birthday was missing or they didn't have it correctly, it would show that a bunch of people were 150 years old, but it just like got pushed back to this date. And it's like, yeah, Elon, if you like had learned about this system for even like 5 minutes, you would have known this, but you just like went to Twitter and started accusing a bunch of like fraud going on in the Social Security system. And it's like, Jesus Christ, you're so incompetent. Anyway,
God.
Sorry, I was kind of long-winded, but
No. It just goes to show, right, how like this is what they think that they're doing. Like they think that they're like, well, I mean, I think that most of it is they're well aware of what they're doing, which is destroying agencies and departments that are, you know, put in place to actually protect any sort of like human or civil rights. And then you have this other part of it, which they're like, oh, we're so fucking like smart and we get to play detective. And like, they think that they're like discovering cool shit and and then they're going to feel good about themselves. And then, you know, because you have this like this team of like inflated ego psychos then who are stupid as fuck, actually, like when it boils down to it,
and dumb as a bag of rocks.
And then it's like they're not only are they purposefully destroying departments, but then they're also stupid, so they're also just like destroying shit that like they don't even know what they're doing.
They know nothing about. It's cool, it's good. Want to hear some other depressing news?
Yeah, please.
So, the ongoing conflict and genocide in Gaza of the Palestinian people rages on. But I, for a second, wanted to talk about Donald Trump's newest plan for U.S. intervention.
Oh,
have you heard about this?
You know what? I don't know details about this, so please enlighten me of what I'm sure is going to be just a really well thought out.
This is so crazy. All right, so the conflict and history of the region is complicated, as we all know.
Yes.
Something that we could maybe dive into on a different episode.
Yeah.
When we could really like get into it, because again, anytime you're talking about the Middle East, like there's so many like groups and factions and cultures that it's so difficult to like, and that's I think a lot of the reason why Americans just are so ignorant about it is they have no idea where this came from, you know?
Right. And I think too, like, not to derail you, but I think like there's a lot of misinformation, especially when it comes to Israel and Palestine and the United States. Like, there's a lot of misinformation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But as we all know, Israel has been committing a genocide against the Palestinian people since the Hamas-Israel war started in October of 2023.
And there's certainly no confusion about that.
This
is just clear as day.
That's just in the
and
open,
you can't argue about it. This is a full genocide by Israel to the Palestinians.
Absolutely.
Period.
So on February 4th, so it's a little bit old at this point, Donald Trump stated that he wanted to put in place a plan to displace the Palestinian people from Gaza to redevelop the land. A quote from Politico. "We'll own it and be responsible," Trump said, pledging to create an economic development that will supply an unlimited number of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, as he said. He announced his plan alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who praised the idea, stating it was something that could change history and worth listening to carefully. Of course, the leader of the country who's been committing a horrific genocide is going to support the displacement of 2 million Palestinians to different countries.
Yeah, no way.
In addition, Trump's words were not just of like a symbolic ownership of Gaza, but he truly meant that the U.S. would go in and own the land to create jobs.
Yes.
And like, oh my gosh, dude, he wants to purchase the land.
Yes.
I'm like, what a fucking monster.
I know. And there was something that he had said. There was some quote of him saying like, "Oh, it's really great real estate" or something like that.
Exactly. He's a fucking real estate guy. Like,
that's what he's been doing for forever.
Dude, blew my fucking mind.
Well, and I mean, then speaking of that, it's like here, yet another insane thing that he's doing, which is wanting to purchase Greenland.
Yeah, like what? And then don't even fucking get me started on the Gulf of America, dude.
My God.
Oh my fucking
I know.
God.
I was like, I can't even get into that this episode because it's so stupid to even entertain this. It's so insane to even entertain this kind of shit. Like,
I can't.
And again, we're a month into this.
Oh my
we are a
God.
month into this, and this guy is already. He's like, not only should we purchase this land that like people are being horrifically genocided on, and like of course, like this surprises me 0% because the American government has always supported Israel and given money to Israel and weapons to Israel and bought weapons from Israel. So like not only is that like absurdly evil, but then it's also like you fucking like it's like I hate these people so much because and we talk about this all the time with right-wing people where it's like they are so deeply evil, but then they also do this stuff that is so like dumb and goofy where it's like I want to rename the Gulf of Mexico, and it's like this is such a waste of my energy to even be thinking about, because you're doing shit like purchasing land that people are being genocided on because you're a real estate fucking tycoon at the end of the day. And now also I'm worried about like the name of the fucking Gulf of Mexico. Like you fucking buffoon.
That's the thing is it's like, what people are probably talking about more than his fucking maniacal shit is the fact that they renamed the Gulf of Mexico.
And I can tell you that is absolutely what's happening. I think that it's
fucking intentional that they do this, and they do it to distract you.
Yes.
So you don't see all the fucking evil shit that they're doing.
Yes, because that's more like, I don't know, I guess sort of silly and like and salacious and like juicier news. Well, I guess depending on how you look at it, but it's like it's memeable and it's like you are looking and it's so fucking stupid. It is so fucking stupid.
It's so stupid
that it's like mind-blowingly stupid. That it's like of course you're going to talk about that because you're just like this is ridiculous.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
I mean it's a classic like. Throwing a blanket on top of something else thing that they always do, which is like, by the way, underneath all of that, underneath this insanely stupid bullshit is like bullshit that's like really, really, really evil, actually.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Another quote, I do see a long-term ownership position. I do see it bringing great stability to that part of the Middle East, and maybe even the entire Middle East, Trump said. Everybody I've spoken to loves this idea of the United States owning that piece of land, developing and creating thousands of jobs. And, of course, framing the discussion as a humanitarian action, Trump also made it clear that he did not believe Palestinians would ever want to return to Gaza because of the trauma and the destruction of the land over the past 15 months. Spoken as the words of a man who has never been forced to leave his home. Like, I cannot... I remember, this is a weird story, but
no, it's fine.
I think I've probably mentioned this before. My two youngest brothers are adopted from Haiti.
Yes.
And I've been to Haiti. My parents have been multiple times. And one time we had this person we met in Haiti. He was one of our translators come and stay with us here. And I don't remember what he was in the States for. But he was staying at our house, and I remember my dad had said something, and it was probably kind of an ignorant thing to say, but he was like, "Oh, I bet Sandra wants to come and work in America or something like that." And this dude, his name was Sandro, he was like, "No, I want to work in Haiti. That's where I live."
Right.
And it's it doesn't matter how impoverished a nation is. That's his home.
Yeah, this is where I'm from and where I've lived my entire life, and my culture and my people and my.
I don't want to, he's like, I like visiting here, but no, I don't want to live in America.
Right.
Because it's not his home. And I just think that it's this weird mindset that people have. And I don't think my dad necessarily has it anymore. It was just, again, I think he just made an ignorant comment, but
sure.
That everybody wants to be like America.
Oh, yes. This is such a common, hold on, I have to clear my throat.
Which obviously, we're the best country in the world.
Exactly.
But
this is such a common thing that Americans do is believing that even if some other nation is impoverished, which I guess, I don't know, from the world that we live in over here looks bad or whatever, I guess, that like, oh, of course this person would want to move to America. I remember actually there was a video, and I can't remember where it was, but it was an African country, and it was like this kid who was a ballet dancer and was like dancing, and I think it was like raining or something outside, and he was like doing ballet dance out in the rain, and he was fantastic. And somebody was like, oh my God, like we should get this kid to Juilliard. Like we need to take him from his home and like put him in Juilliard so that he has any chance of success, kind of thing. And it's like, and then, I mean, luckily there were people commenting back and being like, well, no, like actually he can be perfectly successful and like enjoy his life in whichever country it was that he lived in. I can't remember. Like, even though, yeah, I guess you're seeing him like dancing outside on concrete, and that to you looks like a not successful or a not nice life, but like we should not rip this child away from his home and move him to Juilliard. Like, no, and also like it doesn't automatically make, like, it's not going to automatically make his life better, or it doesn't automatically make us better just because this kid is like ballet dancing outside. Like you just, I mean, our concept, I was having this conversation with my friend Rania forever ago about like the American concept of success is so like mutated and so fucked up, and like also makes our lives worse.
Oh, always. You know? I've thought this way for a long time, but it's like the constant like pressure and I guess like, I don't know, pressure might be the perfect word for it, to like monetize everything you do, every hobby that you have. Yes. Every little thing that you like brings you joy. I feel like culture is constantly like, well, if you can't monetize it, what's the point? Exactly. And it's like, well, the point is that I enjoy it, and it gives me a little break from the fucking hellhole that is existing in capitalism. Like, and like, God forbid that I make this now something that is like a livelihood for me, or like a moneymaker for me, that now like I don't get to enjoy this anymore because I'm worried about like the productivity, and I'm worried about the monetary value of this like hobby or skill or whatever it is that I enjoy. I mean, yes, it's so like the amount of times that like I've had that conversation with people throughout my life about anything, literally anything. Like, oh, you could be selling this. You should be selling this. Oh, you should, post whatever the fuck. You should post this online and charge people to blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, I mean, there's no, like, this is what we do as Americans. Like, we can't enjoy anything anymore. And we can't like look at a kid like doing ballet in a country that is not America without being like, well, he needs to be flown to America immediately because, he has no chance there. Right. It's like, maybe he doesn't want to be a dancer. Maybe he just likes dancing. Right. Or maybe he doesn't want to be fucking American. Like, literally. Maybe he likes not living in America. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. To finish this up. Please. On top of this being one of the most evil things I can personally imagine. It is also, in fact, illegal. Navi Pillay, who is the head of the UN International Criminal Court, says that it amounts to an ethnic cleansing of the area, because he would literally be cleansing the area of an entire ethnic group. Yeah. And here's a quote from her. Trump is woefully ignorant of international law and the law of occupation. Forcible displacement of an occupied group is an international crime and amounts to an ethnic cleansing. Navi Pillay, chair of the United Nations Commissions of the Inquiry on the Occupied Palestinian Territory, told Politico in an interview. According to BBC on Wednesday, the White House attempted to clarify its proposal by stating that it was a temporary relocation while they rebuild Gaza. And I don't think it takes a fucking rocket scientist to see that they were clearly responding to the backlash, because Donald Trump said the quiet part out loud in his announcement. Exactly. And I'm sorry, why the fuck all of a sudden would the United States be interested in putting any money anywhere into Palestine when we literally never have it, and in fact are helping fund the genocide? Yeah, we actually are chill and want the genocide to happen. Yeah, why would political leaders are. Why would we make that switch all of a sudden? And especially why the fuck would I expect that Donald Trump is the one that's going to do it? Yeah. It's insane. And it's funny too, because I was actually surprised to read that there was even a correction that was placed, because I was like, the way things are going, man, like Donald Trump has not been stepping anything back. No. So I was like, I'm surprised that anybody came out and even said like, oh, well, we actually meant temporary.
Exactly.
Like, it's, and like, again, it's one of the most absolutely evil things I mean,
you're
imagine.
literally cashing in on a genocide that you're again, I mean, it's like, this is a genocide that we are funding, and now you're like cashing in on this land that like you're like, well, these people are getting blown up anyway, and let's just like move the rest of them out, so that I can build real estate on this.
I can build real estate
plot of land,
and we can get rid of the Palestinians to make the Israelis happy.
Exactly.
Israeli government, I should say.
Sure, yes.
And and then everybody's happy except the 2 million Palestinian people that you displaced.
Yes.
Yep.
Where are they going to go? Where are you putting them?
It said multiple different countries. That was it.
Wow, that's a great plan.
Yep.
That is a fantastic
obviously well thought out plan.
I mean,
by our genius president.
Per use for the U.S., we're great.
I can't do a great Trump impression, but it's like, the land is terrible. They don't want to be
trauma.
There. They have trauma. It's fucking, yeah, dude. I don't know. I was flabbergasted when I read that story.
Yeah, that's
so I was like, I cannot believe, and I should know better by now.
I mean, I know.
The shit that leaves that man's mouth is like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like some of the most abhorrent shit that you've ever heard in your life. But
so stream of consciousness.
Yes.
And then it doesn't make him look good.
No,
it's
and his stream of consciousness is evil.
Yeah,
so
it's just pure evil. Oops, it's just evil. Like,
yeah, oops, all evil. Yeah, and it's like, again, like, and the thing is, it's like, I guess I'm not surprised. I don't even know. It's like, it's like when you've been in a relationship with someone for a long time and you're like, you still manage to surprise me. Like, that's how I feel about Donald Trump, is I'm like, he still finds a way to make my jaw drop.
Every day.
After all of these years and all of the asinine shit that this man has said, still finds a way to like sweep me off my feet.
I'm like, wow.
Knock my socks off.
I knew you were the most evil person before, but you're taking it to new heights.
You've topped yourself.
Yeah.
You've brought it to a new level that we never thought you could reach.
Yeah.
And here you are.
And I think that's beautiful.
And I think that's beautiful.
You know what else I think is beautiful, Phoebe? Taking a little break
Taking
to
a
go
minute to
pee.
Pissing.
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 Piss. We're back.
Hey.
So back.
So back.
So I think I had mentioned this when we hung out and had a joyful time on Friday.
That was joyful.
Yeah, we did a little karaoke.
Shout out Emily for being born.
Yeah, loving Emily.
Great job on that.
Huge Emily fan.
Yeah.
But I spent $600 on stuff for tables, dude. For a
wedding.
Yeah,
for your wedding.
I
thought you were going to tell me you spent $600 at like Dave and Buster's or something, and I was like, How? You guys weren't even drinking alcohol.
No. Weddings are expensive, dude.
They are very expensive.
And I hate how just like if they put the word wedding before something, they're like, oh, so we can charge 3 times as much.
Yes, wedding tax.
Absolutely crazy.
Wedding tax.
Yeah, literally the wedding tax. It's wild, and yeah, it is crazy. But anyway.
Yeah, that is just,
Be prepared if you're going to get married, listeners.
Yeah. And it's like, unless you want to do it like the most pared, even trying to do it in a really pared down way, it's just like, it's just expensive.
Things just add up. And
no matter what.
And especially if you want, like, yeah, I guess it's like, obviously you could go to the courthouse and just have like a little get together and stuff. But like, if you want to like have catering and food for your friends.
And have like an actual like ceremony and reception.
Yeah, and like all that jazz. It's just like, yeah, that shit is, it gets expensive.
Yeah, it's pricey.
It can be a little bit pricey.
It's a little bit pricey to get married.
It's kind of pricey.
Getting married is kind of expensive. I don't know why we just did that back and forth for a while.
Counterpoint. I have a gun.
Counterpoint. Gun.
Gun.
I got a new vacuum.
Hell yeah.
Thank God for that. Just, I mean,
I also got a new vacuum recently.
Wait, what kind?
It's I don't remember the kind, honestly. I can probably find it, but it's a cordless.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah. That's really nice. I was gonna get the cordless. Well, I always get Shark.
Yeah,
because the whole reason I am getting a new vacuum is because my Shark that I think I have had since, let's see, what year would that have been? 2015, possibly, right around there, I believe. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Maybe 2016. No, 2015.
That tracks.
Anywho, it finally gave up on life, which I'm like 10 years out of a vacuum is a pretty good lifespan.
I would have to agree. I think that vacuum served its purpose.
It did, and she served cunt as well.
She served cunt. She served her country. That's for sure.
She definitely did. More than our president. Anywho, so I finally got a new one just at the Costco's, and my carpet was getting so bad. And I think I've mentioned it before, but my carpet is maroon.
Yeah.
Because I have an old home, and so it shows just everything. And the day I like literally ripped it out of the box and like immediately was like vacuuming as fast as I could because my carpet was so repulsive. So yeah, it feels nice. It feels nice to be able to cume again.
And that's I feel like that's just adulthood in and of itself. Is you're like,
truly,
I'm so juiced to get this new vacuum.
I was so juiced to get a new vacuum.
I'm so fucking stoked.
Yeah. Or like when I got my new dishwasher when I moved in here, and I was like, I can just put dishes in like, with shit on them, and then it cleans them. I was like, whoa! Like the first time I ran my dishwasher, I was like, I was over the moon.
Yeah, I've never seen something like this before.
Yeah, I'm like, I take the plate out and it's just clean.
What? Yeah.
Like, I hadn't had a very functioning dishwasher in a very, very, very long time.
I don't think any of the places I've rented have had functioning dishwashers ever. Actually,
I mean, no, really, it's really never. It's rare.
I mean, renting, especially like when you're like early 20s apartment renting, like you're not getting a good dish. No. You're getting like, you got to run it at least twice.
Yeah.
kind
or
of dishwasher.
You just don't have one at all.
That's also true, yeah.
Which I understand it is a luxury, but I cannot live life without a dishwasher. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm not built for that. I'm just not.
It ain't me, dog.
It ain't me. That ain't me. Okay. Yeah. One other little funny quip before I ruin your life.
Lovely.
Is I've been watching, Maddie and I have been watching Love is Blind.
I have heard good things about Love is Blind.
It is some of the juiciest, most ridiculous shit that I've ever seen.
I love that.
Which I had watched a season of like UK back in the day, but this newest season of the US version, you talking about weddings just made me think about it because, okay, when I first, so I've only seen 2 seasons, including the one I'm watching right now, and the other one I watched was UK. Anyway, I did not realize that they literally like decide if they are going to be together at the altar.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the altar is when they say yes or no.
I know. It's crazy.
Like all of their friends and family are there. They've thrown a whole, I mean, granted, I don't think it's actually, there's probably not like the whole wedding shit, but like,
sure.
I mean, they are in like, you're in a dress, you're in a suit, your hair and makeup is done, your friends and family are there. It's like planned out. I think they have colors and stuff. One of them on one of the last episodes was talking about like color scheme and shit. I'm like, you plan a whole fucking wedding just to like decide literally at the altar whether you're going to do this or not.
It's kind of crazy.
It's crazy. And I was looking it up because I was like, how long does this actually go on for? And I think based on my Google search, it's like 38 days or something. I'm looking it up again because
which, again, it's in and of itself is because that's like, like 90 Day Fiance.
Right.
Is like, you got 90 days to like figure this out.
Which like, I think with 90 Day Fiance, like they've at least like been like online dating or something beforehand.
And you know what they look like at least.
Right. That too. This is literally, 38 days total.
Oh my God.
Which is like the time in the pods, which is when they can't see each other and they're talking. That's only 10 days.
Oh my God.
10 days to propose to somebody.
Yeah.
And then the rest of this 38 days, they go on like a trip to like somewhere tropical for a little bit. They live together for a little bit. And then literally then they decide. So it's like just over a month.
And
till whether in front of your entire friends and family, if you are going to marry this person or not.
Which is like kind of crazy. I mean, it's obviously crazy for a lot of reasons, but it's like, first of all, so like that's not enough time to do anything. Like I've taken longer to like decide like which fucking grocery item I want to buy.
Right.
It's, but even, and then on top of that, it's like, well, obviously, and it's a reality show, so I know it's like not always the most realistic.
Well, yes, but this is why we get sucked into these things. Yeah.
But on top of that, it's like, okay, like of course, like if you were gonna like take me to a nice tropical island and I like wasn't like stressed about work and doing all this, it's like, I would have probably a lovely time with anybody.
Exactly.
But then you like get back to your normal life and you start like living your normal life.
Can you actually live reality together?
And you're like, okay, well actually like, we had a great time when it was just like party fun vacation, but like now I fucking want to die because I don't like you and everything.
And I have to go to work now. And like pay my bills. I always thought that about like The Bachelor/et because the entire show, the entire time that they're doing things, they're going on these like lavish dates where it's like the Backstreet Boys are here. We're like riding horses in outer space or something. Yeah. And then when they do decide, like, then I think it's when it's just the two like people that left that they're choosing between. They're like in the most beautiful, perfect location, doing the most beautiful, perfect things. And then they get engaged and then they go back to reality. Like the whole, like the Love is Blind process is like, still absolutely fucking insane. And it is like, this same crazy idea, but like they're kind of just sitting in these rooms talking to each other. With Bachelor/et, you literally are like doing the most. You're doing the most. And like, of course you're gonna like think you're in love with somebody because you guys are like
having these magical experiences.
Yeah, you're like taking a rocket ship to the moon together. It's like, you're not living real life. Like that's always gonna be fun. Like it's obviously crazy. Anyway.
And as a wise philosopher once said, Phoebe, snap back to reality. There goes gravity. So,
And truer words never been spoken.
That's, and I think if we all just remembered that once in a while,
it might
the world would be a better place.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, we're about to snap back to reality and there goes gravity. True. So I think a lot of us are aware that Trump is very against these DEI programs that have been put in place.
Yes.
Which stands, of course, for diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is to ensure that, say the hiring process, HR teams, what have you, are not racist or homophobic, and that, they're making sure that like, I think everybody listening to this podcast understands this, but I'm just going to say it. So DEI is created to make sure that teams, whatever, let's say you're hiring a team at work, to make sure that they are equally proportioned of people of all different kinds and not just only white people. DEI does not exist to like never let white people have a job again, which of course is what these people, or like there's going to be, fucking transgender surgeries going on at work during the day or
like
whatever.
I feel like the big like talking point is like, well, there's going to be an overqualified person, but they're going to hire the minority because of DEI and stuff, because of this and because of that. And it's like, well, I mean, the person that they hire still has to like know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they're, I don't know.
They're not hiring Elon Musk. Let me tell you that. You want to talk about fucking DEI? Well, Elon Musk, like you want to talk about people like getting jobs that they're not qualified for.
Look at our fucking
literally who is like the right-hand man right now.
But also, again, if you have multiple viewpoints on things in a work environment, whether it's like on the small scale or like at a leadership level, it does generally just like make a more inclusive and like more equitable environment because you have different like viewpoints and people who can connect in different ways.
And who know, like, if, say, we're talking government agencies, you have people who understand, like, the different needs of different communities and therefore can help the government function better.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like, if I was a manager or really just in any kind of position of, like, power and someone who was, like, again, if it's a government space or even an employer, someone working under me, is like, oh, like I have this thing going on with whatever, culture I'm in, like these holidays and things. Like, I'm not going to know anything about that.
Right.
Or like, hey, there's women that work under me. I don't know anything about being a woman.
Sure.
Like, whereas like someone who's a woman in leadership would know. Like,
exactly.
Exactly. I don't know. It just is like, you can't, you make a better place if you have multiple voices.
I mean, yeah.
But,
the whole thing our country was founded on,
choir,
which was like, it's called a melting pot for a reason.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, so one of the things with this attack on DEI that's really taken a heavy hit is the CDC and like science in general. So Trump put out this executive order, which I do want to read to you after I talk a little bit about like what's happened with this. There's my page. I almost just lost it. So all of these caveats, I suppose, have been put in place with certain research that's going on with the CDC, with certain like articles that are being published by the CDC because of this DEI thing. And one of the biggest things that Trump is trying to attack especially when it comes to the CDC is language related to gender identity and LGBTQ issues. The CDC has taken a hard hit on this. So what they've done with this executive order is basically any pages, articles, I can't think of the right term, I guess I'll say article, that's headed to publication, if they include a certain list of words or any words that are on this list that they find are, have to do with gender identity, they now have to be put under review. Who knows how long that's going to take before that they can be published. Yeah. And a lot of articles that are already up on the website for the CDC have been taken down in order to be quote unquote reviewed. So here's just a couple of them that have been taken down. Health disparities among LGBTQ youth, interim clinical considerations for use of vaccine for monkeypox prevention, and fast facts, HIV and transgender people. Not only that, but like this entire collection dating way far back of articles on HIV and AIDS have been completely scrubbed from the website, which is extremely important information. Very Another thing that they're blocking right now, which this actually is maybe more of a side note, but I'm on the topic of the CDC. They're blocking a lot of these studies and articles and things that are trying to go out right now relating to avian flu, which is really important that we have that information like as quickly as possible. But those are being pushed way back. And so this is the problem, is that it's like not only is information, older information that we need, like we need to have access to information about HIV and AIDS. Those are being completely scrubbed and taken down, but also newer information about like monkeypox or avian flu or anything that has to do with like LGBTQ or gender identity or what have you are being halted. And, the timeline on who knows what the timeline like that is going to look like.
Crazy, because it's like, I mean, obviously, again, I don't expect much from this administration, but like, look at the fucking leaps and bounds that have been made in HIV and AIDS research. Yes. And it's not a death sentence anymore because of what people have done. Like, you can live an entire life with HIV.
Yes.
And like, it's so crazy that like all of that work, all of that history is just, or like the history of them, like how far we've come with that is just gone.
Yeah. And and any continued research is being defunded, and, any new papers that might be coming out that could provide us with new, really important information are being stopped up. And, I mean, exactly what you said, like in the 80s, we lost thousands of people to this.
An entire generation
of
gay
people.
Men are gone.
And now, like, I mean, this has become something that is really starting to get into the background of people's lives, and not being a death sentence. In fact, with all of the research that went into the COVID vaccine being an mRNA vaccine, they actually got a lot closer to being able to create a vaccine for HIV, which is absolutely, I mean, that's life-changing. That's
crazy.
Life-changing. And that's now going to all go out the window because, you know, there's gender identity and LGBTQ words on these articles. So Trump released this executive order. And so there's a couple of things in this executive order. Again, I'm going to read a little bit of it just because you're going to be in disbelief of the evilness of it all. So basically the Trump administration has come out and said that they, quote, will only recognize an individual's immutable biological classification. Immutable. Sorry. I have a little bit of a frog in my throat still, so I'm hoping that you can understand what I'm saying. And it will also, it calls for all agencies to, quote, remove all statements, policies, regulations, forms, communication, or other internal and external messages that promote or otherwise inculcate gender ideology, and shall cease issuing such statements, policies, regulations, forms, communications, or other messages. So this is a really, really large umbrella of things. I really was looking to find this beforehand, and I could not find, I don't know why, maybe I just wasn't putting in the right combination of words into Google, but great podcast to listen to. It's called Science Versus, and they just barely released an episode going over all of this, and it's really great information, but they had this list of words that you're not allowed to have in these articles, and I mean, it's such a wide breadth of things that, like, it's hindering articles that have nothing to do with, you know, LGBTQ, whatever the fuck stuff. I mean, it's like completely are things that are completely out of that as well. But, you know, again, they don't care. There was also a memo from the Office of Personnel Management, which asked the heads of departments and agencies to, quote, take down all outward-facing media that inculcate or promote gender ideology by 5 p.m. January 31st. And so something that was really just bone-chilling to me, like genuinely bone-chilling, and just made me feel like, I don't even know. I am struggling to find the words, I think. But anyway, so any articles that are still up on the CDC website that, I don't know, I guess are considered maybe under review or not necessarily like abiding by this executive order yet. Anyway, there's a disclaimer at the top of this page from the White House explaining that the information that you're receiving from this article is fake news. Yeah. So here's what it says, quote, any information on this page promoting gender ideology is extremely inaccurate and disconnected from the immutable biological reality that there are two sexes, male and female. Yeah.
Brother.
Like when I read that
But you're so stupid because nobody's saying that there's not two, well, first of all, okay, yes, there's intersex people, which are literally in between.
First of all, like, this argument is already out the window.
It's already out the window. But again, it's like gender and sex are different. And people understand, like, when you go to the doctor and you're a trans person, you tell the doctor that you're trans because there's certain things that they need to look for or don't need to look for based on, again, your sex and your chromosomes. Like, and even then, there's a whole lot of, you know, a whole slew of exceptions and different things, but nobody's arguing that, like anybody. Like, we're arguing gender identity, which is completely different. But so it's stupid, and it just shows they're ignorant, and it just shows that I'm getting so riled up.
I know, and please don't be sorry, because I said off air to you, like, I've been really needing to, because I do have conversations with, you know, my clients and my friends and things like that, but like I've been needing to really, especially with you, I've been needing to really get down into this and like really just talk about my feelings about it, because it has been actually like I am feeling like a weight is on my chest, and I'm feeling like it's making me feel really crazy and really anxious. Oh, I'm actually getting really emotional right now.
Yeah, it's okay.
This in particular just like made me
awful.
It really put a chill down my spine because I don't know, like I hate to bring everything back to fucking Nazi Germany, but I'm sorry, like this is kind of one of the only things that we have to compare things to often. And it's a little hard when things really keep reminding you of this.
Yeah, really start lining up.
Yeah. But when I was in Berlin, we went to this museum and they had, I think I talked about this exhibit on the podcast before, but anyway, they had this exhibit where it was these really long like banners hanging from the ceiling, and it was all of the laws that went into place under, you know, under Hitler's regime. And you could see with these laws, like, it's like at the beginning of this, you know, there's a law that's like a little bit loose, maybe.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it gets worse and worse and worse until it's basically like, it's legal to slaughter Jews in the street. And I just am like fucking watching that happen here. And especially this in particular is language that like we've seen this type of language before. Yeah. And especially attacking science, attacking gender science, attacking like and putting this type of I don't know, disclaimer, I guess, which is essentially saying that this information is false and dangerous on a peer-reviewed scientific paper that's already been published and been through all the things, to now put this disclaimer that like it's just, I mean, it's really, really fucking scary. So here's the rest of this disclaimer. Quote, "The Trump administration rejects gender ideology and condemns the harms it causes to children by promoting their chemical and surgical mutilation, and to women by depriving them of their dignity, safety, well-being, and opportunities. This page does not reflect biological reality, and therefore the administration and this department reject it."
Yeah.
This is our reality. This is an official statement from the White House of the the presidency, the government of the United States of America is like, this is their official statement on top of like professional articles from our fucking health department, like is saying like that this is promoting surgical mutilation of children and deprives women of their dignity and safety. Like I think I like when I heard this, I think I actually just like sat there and like was like, obviously I'm like having a hard. This is real. This is like
actually happening.
Bone chillingly real. Yeah. Like obviously I'm having a hard time even like articulating how what my feelings are about this, because this is like, I think this is the kind of thing that gets lost in bureaucracy. And especially like, you know, all of this stuff, the ways in which this executive order was put in and the ways in which they're using it to kind of halt the publication of certain articles and things. And even this like little disclaimer that's going to be at the top of certain CDC articles. I know not all of us are going on the CDC website and reading articles every day. I'm certainly not. So it's things like this that I think get lost in bureaucracy that like are actually so much more deeply harmful than we realize, because this is like the road to
an atrocity happening,
exterminating people.
Yeah. And I mean, and
claiming that children are being like surgically, like, okay, breathe, Phoebe. Like the United States government is on an official government website is stating, not claiming, stating that children are being surgically mutilated. Like,
it's, yeah. It's insane.
Huh?
And not only that, I think another good point, and I think Phoebe kind of said it all right there.
I mean, please, though.
No, but is that, you know, clearly they're taking away articles because, you know, trans people have existed for forever. It has been more in the public consciousness or the mainstream as of late. And they clearly have been taking away published articles, which means that it's not just like any person who's LGBTQ plus is, I guess, I mean, we should all stand in solidarity, of course.
Absolutely.
But I think that it's like you said, it's this slippery slope. It's this road.
Yes.
It's like they took away these AIDS articles from cisgendered gay men too.
Exactly.
They took these, and I mean, for fucking straight anybody for that matter who has
anybody
AIDS.
can get HIV.
Yeah, it's not just
it's not a gay disease.
It's not a gay disease, but like it's not. It's that thing. It's like that's that poem that everybody quotes, but it's like
first they came
came for the whatever, but it's like again it's not,
but it is true, and we've been watching this happen over the last multiple years. I mean, we've been watching the envelope get pushed. We've been watching these things slip in under other things, and again, like what I'm saying in like. And what I mean by like, oh, these things get lost in bureaucracy is that it's like, yeah, a lot of the attack that's currently happening is like a paperwork filing or a disclaimer on a website. But like, and it maybe doesn't feel as dangerous to certain people, or it seems like it's intangible because it's
just
this thing written on a web, or it's just paperwork, or it's just it's slowing down the production of the whatever. But
that's how it starts.
Yes, and also it's like this is actually way more dangerous than it's like this disclaimer on this website is incredibly dangerous. This is all like it's
how it starts.
It's a start, but it's also like it's further along than like we're even conceptualizing. Like this is the fact that like this we're this far along and it's February 24th. It feels harrowing.
It's scary. It's
No,
you're so correct.
Little noodle. She knew I was upset. She came over to say it.
It's scary and
it's terrifying.
I fully get where you're
coming
from.
And I mean I know you do. I know you do, but yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly read a tiny bit of literally just the name of this executive order. Defending women from it's on this whitehouse.gov. By the way, defending women from gender ideology extremism and restoring biological truth to the federal government. This is an executive order that went into place on January 20th, by the way.
Very cool. Yep.
Yes. Immediately. By the authority vested in me as president of the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, blah, 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 blah. It is hereby ordered that... ideologues who deny the biological reality of sex have increasingly used lethal and other socially coercive means to permit men to self-identify as women and gain access to intimate single-sex spaces and activities designed for women, from women's domestic abuse shelters to women's workplace showers. This unhealthy road is paved by an ongoing and purposeful attack against the ordinary and long-standing use and understanding of biological and scientific terms, replacing the immutable biological reality of sex with an internal, fluid, and subjective sense of self unmoored from biological facts. Invalidating the true and biological category of woman improperly transforms laws and policies designed to protect sex-based opportunities into laws and policies that undermine them, blah, blah, blah. It is the policy of the United States to recognize two sexes, male and female. These sexes are not changeable and grounded in fundamental and incontrovertible reality. Under my direction, the executive branch will enforce all sex protective laws to promote this reality, and the following definitions shall govern. Okay, so these are some of the words that the CDC papers. So sex shall refer to an individual's immutable biological classification as either male or female. Sex is not a synonym for and does not include the concept of gender identity. Women, woman, girls or girl shall mean adult and juvenile human females respectively. Men, man, boys, or boys shall mean juvenile, adult and juvenile males, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Female means a person belonging at conception to the sex that produces the large reproductive cell. Male means a person belonging at conception to, blah, 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 to the sex of the small reproductive cell. Gender ideology replaces the biological category of sex with an ever-shifting concept of self-assessed gender identity, permitting false claim that males can identify as and thus become women and vice versa, requiring all institutions of society to regard this false claim as true. Gender ideology includes the idea that there is a vast spectrum of gender that are disconnected from one's sex, blah, be fucking blah. We will be recognizing that women are biologically distinct from men. Within 30 days, on the date of this order, the Secretary of Health and Human Services shall provide to the U.S. government, external partners, and the public clear guidance expanding on sex-based definitions set forth in this order. Let me just see. I feel like there was a couple of other things. Agencies shall remove all statements, policies, regulations, forms, communication. Oh, I read this one earlier. Blah, blah, blah. Shall cease issuing such statements that, use that kind of language. Let me just make sure.
I bet J.K. Rowling's juiced.
Yeah, she's probably fucking
she's probably
stoked.
Fucking
just
stoked.
Wait for her to come and get her American citizenship or some fucking shit.
Yeah.
Not that the UK is doing any better at being nice to trans people. Federal funds shall not be used to promote gender ideology. Each agency shall access grant conditions and guarantee preferences to ensure grant funds do not promote gender ideology. So this obviously is a huge one. Like I said, they're cutting funding towards HIV research. They're cutting Planned Parenthood has been under attack since forever fucking ago. Of course, stuff like that. And this is so... I know I have said getting lost in bureaucracy 100 times, but this is another thing where this type of thing gets lost in bureaucracy. This is Section 3 Clause G. This is pretty far down into
dense.
This executive order, and this is huge. This is one of the biggest parts of this, I think, is the cutting of funds to things. And they bury it underneath, and it's in all this, very bureaucratic language, and this is buried underneath there. And that's going to be, I think, one of the biggest issues. Or, let's talk about, clinics that provide hormone therapy.
Oh, totally.
Doctors who provide care to, mostly a transgender population. Fucking doctors that do... gender affirming operations.
Yeah.
It's that. Oh, here's another one. This is another one that's real dark, and it's buried pretty deeply in here. The Attorney General shall ensure that the Bureau of Prisons revises its policies concerning medical care to be consistent with this order, and shall ensure that no federal funds are expended for any medical procedure, treatment, or drug for the purpose of conforming an inmate's appearance to that of the opposite sex. So, of course, none of us are shocked that they don't care about trans people in prison, but
Obviously.
Okay, so they're going to be ripping away if you're on hormones. And I'm sure that we will absolutely be seeing, trans people getting thrown into the wrong prison
100%.
and their hormones are being taken away, which can make you sick, by the way. It's not
totally.
just and also, fucking, what's the word, Taylor, where you are unhappy with your body, but it's
dysphoria.
Thank you, Jesus Christ. Dysphoria is an illness, and that's and again, I know I'm like fucking preaching to the choir here, but like this is not just like, oh shoot, wish I had boobs. Like, no, this will rip apart your consciousness. Like you are completely removed from like what your body is and who you are. Anywho, but also like, not being on like that fucks with your body. Once you've been taking hormones and then you stop taking your hormones, like there's an imbalance and you're gonna have to go through like your body changing again to try and like, make up for the fact that like your hormones are not the same as they had been.
Yeah.
Anyway, this goes on and on and on, and this is exactly what we knew what it was, which is an attack on LGBTQ people, and in particular, of course, trans people. And not only that, but also like, it's under this guise that it's like defending women, da-da-da. Well, actually, this is a huge detriment to, if you want to talk biological to quote unquote biological women. This is actually a huge detriment to cisgender women as well.
Mm-hmm. Nope. And it's, I guess, worth pointing out that the right is always going to do this.
Yes.
They have and we've talked about it a million times on this
but
podcast.
This is what we're here to do today.
This is what we're here to do today. But the right has this effort, and they put in these things that they do these things, and they don't play by the rules.
Yes.
They don't give a fuck.
Yes.
They just want fascism to come.
Exactly.
All right. That's truly what they want.
And that's what this is. And like,
and the left, and what I mean is by liberal, the left is liberals.
Yes.
They play by the rules. They won't step in, and they won't do anything.
Exactly.
We had 4 years of Joe Biden, and we accomplished nothing.
Exactly.
Like we basically put a pin in what Donald Trump was doing, and now he's back. He pulls the pin out, and everything's fucking going to hell. It's like, it's so frustrating. In less than a month. We had 4 years to ensure
to do anything.
To do literally anything about it, and we didn't. And that's why we are slowly creeping towards fascism, is because liberals, the Democrats, they don't want to do anything because they believe that the system will save them, and it won't.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
It's
and
so
because
frustrating.
decorum, and because they don't want to, step any toes out of line, and because fucking Joe Biden benefits from the U.S. being fascist as well. He doesn't give a flying fuck. Don't move my thing, Shiv.
Yeah. And now we're reaping the benefits of a lactose liberal party that has for years upon years not taken a stance and not actually done anything, and in a lot of ways actively hindered any progress that the left has tried to make.
Exactly.
And now, again, we're reaping the consequences.
You said it. We have made extraordinary leaps and bounds with AIDS and HIV, medical developments and research. And now here we are, people are going to be fucking dying of AIDS again.
Yeah.
When, we have figured out a way that people can literally live a full life being diagnosed not only with HIV, but literally AIDS, can live a
an
full
entire
life.
And they can have partners who don't have HIV.
Yes.
And they can safely have sex.
Yes.
We have come so far.
Something that was, devastating.
It killed. How many old gay men did you see in culture?
Exactly.
I think I can think of one that I know.
Yeah.
Who's above the age of 50.
Exactly. It erased an entire generation. An entire fucking generation.
We've made leaps and bounds in so many ways, and now we're literally regressing.
Yes. In
scary.
In big ways. We are taking major steps back and major steps forward towards something I don't even want to fucking conceptualize. And again, it's the language of these is so bone chilling and I don't know, whatever.
It's dehumanizing in that way.
Insanely dehumanizing.
It's dehumanizing in that way that government documents are dehumanizing to people, where it's the subject, or the immutable blah blah biological. It's that thing where it's they hide behind this this official scientific speak or whatever
sounding,
and it makes it detaches any emotional or empathy that you have with any person.
Exactly.
And I think it's a tactic to nice people.
Completely. And the other thing is that this information is just false.
Yeah.
Stating as fact that children are being are being surgically mutilated is false. That is
not true.
Completely false. And
then they're claiming that the document is untrue.
Exactly.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
No.
The most that a child will be put on is a hormone suppressant.
Yes.
That is, you cannot get gender affirming surgery when you are, I believe, under the age of 18.
Yeah. No. You're a minor. You can't do that. They can. Anyway, it's it's this and again, not to compare reality to media, but I don't know, whatever. This is so fucking Handmaid's Tale. Reading this, defending women from gender ideology extremism and restoring biological truth to the federal government. I am
so scary.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. It's big. It's oof. Yeah. It's not good. It's really not good.
It's really not good. Do you have something else horrible for us?
Mine's not quite as bad.
Okay, good.
I'll read this. We'll take a break, and then we'll kind of finish up.
Great.
This one's not too terrible. But in other news, I guess I went with a foreign policy theme.
Oh, yeah, I like that. That's great.
It's a little bit better. In other news regarding foreign policy, a trade war between the U.S. and China is underway, as I'm sure y'all have heard about. This is similar to what happened the last time Trump was in office. China announced similar tariffs on U.S. products minutes after the U.S. levied a 10% tax on all Chinese products that went into effect.
Yep. Which is like every single product that we have, by
pretty
the way.
much. And I'm pretty sure we did a whole episode on tariffs and sanctions.
We certainly did.
And why they really don't do anything. If anything, they usually harm a population of people and make things more expensive for us in America. And again, like there's a lot of things going on, but it's I mean, there are genuinely hardworking people who in China, wherever, who work in these production jobs.
Yes.
They probably don't get paid enough, that's for sure, but we're hindering their ability to work.
Exactly.
And again, it just hurts a population, doesn't hurt the leaders at all.
No.
Trump is also planning to implement more tariffs on other nations in the coming days to reshape the U.S. global trade relationships. Due to the sheer volume of goods made in China as well as resources exported, this will lead to higher prices for many items. I think the goal of this is to bring more jobs and lead to and production back into the United States. But of course, we would also need to see livable wages along with that to make any kind of domestic improvement. And again, that's completely discounting the fact that there are other people who need jobs in other places. Right,
exactly. And the other thing too is like, you know, for example, to use the tariff on Mexico, a lot of the products that we get from Mexico is produce. And the reason why we do that is because like conditions in the U.S. can't make that kind of produce, or certainly not at the rate that like we can get from Mexico. Like the climate in Mexico allows for avocados at the rate that Americans consume them, and you know, cilantro and all these produce items are grown out there because the climate and the soil and the everything is they can grow well and better and in huge amounts out there.
No white man in the government has eaten a vegetable in 20 years. Absolutely not. They do not know what that is.
I mean, y'all saw that photo of like, it was like, I think like Trump and Elon and somebody else like in Air Force One or his private fucking jet or whatever. And they're like eating McDonald's.
Oh, I'm sure.
And they're like, yay, like stoked on their fucking McGriddle or whatever the fuck it is they're eating. I'm just like, yeah, of course they're not like worried about where their tomatoes are going to come from.
Oh, literally. Fast fashion and toys will be a large market that's affected by the tariffs, but also car parts, electronics, and home supplies.
Yes.
We did an episode on sanctions and tariffs long ago, so I would recommend listening to that if you want to get more of like a deep dive on it. That's kind of just the current update with the trade war with China, but we'll take a break. I have one more little thing I can go over, and
Great.
then
I do too. So
we'll finish it all up. So
perfect.
But breathe a little, drink some water.
Try to do anything.
Yeah, if you got to listen to this in a few parts, I understand.
I know. I had sent that Science Versus episode to a friend of mine, and she was like, I really want to listen to this, but I feel like I have to wait until like Saturday night or something so I can like recover, like it's like a hangover or something.
Literally, yeah. I mean, yeah, like I understand.
Yeah, I gotta like pick and choose, like
getting
when
emotional
I can
just
consume.
talking about HIV and AIDS.
Exactly,
because,
exactly.
It's like, and I'm not even like necessarily in a position where I'm at risk for AIDS and HIV, but like.
Sure.
There was a time when I was, and
absolutely,
it was very nice to have so much research and knowledge about it, and like,
knowing that you can take PrEP, knowing that you can be what I think they were saying, like undetectable, so that knowing and now these usually queer people were able to put on like dating profiles, like I'm HIV plus, but we're gonna be good, like just to let you know up front, because like, you should do that with STDs and STIs, but it's all good. Like, we
like
can have sex and it's going to be
far
great.
enough that it's not a big deal. And
exactly.
it's just,
and it was something that was becoming like, and I hope that within I think we've made so many strides in the LGBTQ community, especially with HIV and AIDS, that like it's not this shameful thing in our community anymore. But like, you know, we had made so many strides that like it was becoming not so shameful to come out and say not only that if you're HIV plus, but also that like, yes, I do have AIDS. Like, and it was something to own and feel okay about owning and not be this like dirty little secret anymore. You know?
And it was just, I don't know. It's sad to think about other people that were in my position where you like come out and you have no idea what you're doing.
Exactly.
And you have no idea. And there's this like scary thing that you're like, well, I've only ever heard these terrible things about HIV and AIDS my entire life.
Right.
And to have the resources to... And, you know, again, I'm not saying I was reading a bunch of CDC articles, but that knowledge disseminates and, like, just, you know, hearing experiences from people who have HIV and AIDS and reading different kind of articles about it, even if it's not an official CDC article.
Sure. But it's
like, again, that information being available is just so crucial.
Exactly.
And it just makes me so sad.
And the destroying of this kind of information.
You're going to see people getting, I don't know.
And just, like, destroying...
It's
anyway.
like you're destroying. I mean, it feels like you're destroying a part of history because of how far people have come.
Exactly.
I don't know. And how far we've come as a society, even in our like mindset towards it. But I don't know. It's Anyway. Break. Happy break. We're back and just talking about how good we feel.
I feel so awesome right now. I feel so awesome
everything's
right now.
Going great. I have no notes on the country, you know, like we finally reached you know, the peak society, the utopia that we all wanted. And I mean, I just am excited to see where the next 4 years take us.
Can't wait for the next dude. I think it was maybe a TikTok or a Vine or something, and it's this girl, and she's like sobbing, crying, and she's like, "Well, it was a great day. Can't wait for more." Like that's how I feel right now. I'm
like, wow.
Can't wait for more.
I was I think I was on a call with my mom and my grandma, and we were just like talking about how terrible things are. And I was like, I said something, I was like, it's funny how like when you look at like depictions of what like people in like the 70s and 80s thought the future would be like, they're like it's gonna be like Star Trek where like we've conquered our problems and now we like go out and we help other species. And I was like, and it's crazy that we're like just strip mining the planet to sell you more iPhones and we're going to implode on ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's the future, baby.
Yeah. Like this. Yeah. It's like, man, I almost feel so sad to like think about, you know, people that were alive in that era looking at like where we are now, being like wow. You know, people who are maybe like younger kids in that era, like dreaming of like, I can't wait for my flying car, Grandpa. And like now they're here and they're like, oh, I'm in like fucking like hell. I don't even know. Like, it's like, I just imagine like
torture. When
I think about like America, truly like the picture in my brain is like a big giant factory with like evil, bad black smoke coming out of it. And the music's like, don, don. Like that's
like, you know, I feel like, cause I fully believe that like the universe is big enough and I mean, constantly expanding to like hold other life. For sure.
Oh, most definitely.
It's gotta be, right?
Most definitely.
But, like, the real question is, like, can that life not destroy itself before it could reach the point where it could, like, travel, you know? Like
exactly.
Because, like, we are, we went to the moon and we, like, sent a robot to Mars. But, like...
Sure.
Like, we can't, like, leave the planet, you know? Like,
yes.
And it's like... I don't think we're gonna be able to. Like, I don't think we have enough time.
No, we will kill each other by then.
We will all die.
Yes,
and the planet will no longer be have habitable.
Yeah, like whether we're dying from like climate disaster or we're dying from like, poverty, or we're dying from literally like nuking each other.
Yeah.
Who's to say? But yeah, we're not going to get there.
Yeah.
Like we're not going to be able to have space travel. And yeah, I do often wonder that, like what do other, I mean, man, I really wish I could know. Like what I do, as you, I definitely believe that there's other life out there that's like, quote unquote, like as intelligent as humans or whatever, like, and I just wonder, like, yeah, what does that society look like?
Like,
is it,
could they, like, theoretically have done things differently?
Yeah, like, to keep myself sane, I have to think that, like, there is, like, a wonderful, beautiful, peaceful society out there somewhere that, like, I mean, I'm positive that other life forms look entirely different than human beings and act and behave entirely different than human beings. But, like, yeah, I feel like for my own peace of mind, I just have to believe that, like, yes, there are the other life forms out there are, like, coexisting peacefully.
They're thriving.
And, like, doing great and having a really nice time and maybe just, like, being one with whatever the nature of their planet is.
Real Avatar vibes.
Exactly.
The blue people movie.
Yes.
Where they're like, they connect their nature.
Plug their braid into the tree or whatever.
Sounds lit, dude.
I
could
would
plug
love
myself into a tree.
I really would actually like to be doing that right now. If I could,
True.
I would.
You know what, listener? If you haven't, go. I mean, I know it might be cold where you're at. It's cold where we're at, but
yeah,
touch some grass.
It's quite warm.
Yeah, get some sun.
Mm-hmm.
That helps me. I feel like when I walk outside and I suck up some sun, I'm like, wow. Maybe life is worth living.
Yeah, I know. That vitamin D. Hanging out with my friends, going to Dave & Buster's with my friends.
Exactly. We, I don't want to out Eden too much, but we're doing 75 hard, and it's just, not drinking, doing like workouts every day and stuff. And Eden was just feeling overwhelmed by how much like stuff we have to do.
Sure.
And was like, just like, having an overwhelmed moment.
Yeah, it's a laundry list of things.
And then we had sex, and then Eden was like, wow, I came, and now I feel like life is worth living again.
They're like, oh wait, I actually think everything's gonna be all right.
I think everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, so maybe if sex is your MO, have some good sex with somebody you trust.
Have some good sex, because it does help.
It really actually does.
Yeah, I think so.
I definitely think so.
Takes a load off, literally.
Nice. You took the out of my mouth.
Anyway, do you want to jump into your next article?
Yes, I do. Okay. So, as I'm sure we are all aware, there's been several plane incidents happening.
Yes. I was wondering if you were going to...
Of course I am.
Yeah, I was like,
can't.
You've had your track record is, you're the nation's expert on
I am
Boeing and plane related activities.
I'm the nation's expert on what's going wrong with flying. So as of this year, there's been, or I should say, since Trump took office, there's been like kind of 3 major plane incidents that mostly everyone is aware of. So there was, of course, that one in DC where I'm just going to read right here what it is called, the Bombardier CRJ-700 airliner, which was an American Airlines flight.
Gotta be my favorite airliner.
I love the Bombardier.
Yeah. Like the best one.
It is the best one, definitely. Absolutely. I think it's a little nicer than the Geronimo.
Yeah, the Geronimo 375 is just kind of an outdated model. I don't know.
It is, and the Bombardier was like it took over.
It was an overdue upgrade,
it was.
I would say.
It was.
Yeah.
Anyway, that collided in air over the Potomac River with a United States Army Sikorsky, I don't know, and I don't care, UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter. We also had the Delta flight that crashed and literally like flipped over upside down, landing in Toronto, where the right wing like exploded.
Yeah.
Shockingly, everybody survived that one, which is great. And
That's
then
amazing.
there was the other one, I believe, was Texas. Is this the one I was thinking of?
Yeehaw.
I think so. Yeehaw. I can't remember where the other. I wish I fucking had it right here. Anywho. And so here's why this is kind of happening. And where is my note on that? Hold on, everybody. Where did
I forgot of a story that
There
I'm
it
going
is.
to tell you, but I want you to finish a little bit.
Okay.
First, and then I'll tell you.
So again, this is another somehow, believe it or not, folks, this is a DEI related thing somehow. So
For sure.
because of Trump's attack on DEI, he's been gutting all of these federal agencies. And one of the federal agencies that he gutted was the FAA.
Yep. Which is a good one to cut because
God knows we don't need.
Yeah, planes don't need to be safe. Yeah. They were fine before, like we were already having insane amounts of plane crashes and terrible things. Anyway.
Exactly. So just days before the Potomac crash, the one where the American Airlines flight hit the helicopter, or the helicopter hit them, he had fired all the members of the Aviation Security Advisory Committee. Which is a pretty important one, folks.
I would think so.
Yes. And this was created in 1988 after a Pan Am bombing over Scotland. This committee is charged with examining safety issues at airlines and airports. One of the members of this advisory committee, who, let me find their first name. Gotta scroll up. Charles Spitzer Statlander. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm so sorry, Charles, if I pronounced your last name a little bit wrong.
Good old Spitz, dude.
Was part of this committee that was fired, and he believes that he was fired because he criticized Elon Musk on Twitter. Yes. He came out. So this was after Elon Musk.
Wow.
So Spitzer Stedler is Jewish. And he was obviously hurt and upset when Elon Musk, and I'm just going to say it, threw out a Nazi salute.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can say it.
It's what it was.
Yeah.
At the inauguration. And so on his personal Facebook page, he called for his friends to, get rid of their Teslas and delete their X accounts. This did not go over too well for him. Apparently. Elon Musk is a person who gets his little feelings hurt very easily. And so then this Facebook account that was called the Department of Government Efficiency, however, like, who knows if this was like an official account or like an Elon fan.
Yeah.
The White House spokesperson came out and wrote on X that Doggy doesn't even have a Facebook page, so who knows who this was. But anyway, this Facebook account called Department of Government Efficiency reacted to his post with a laughing emoji. And then this account went through and reacted to a bunch of other older posts on his Facebook feed, his personal Facebook feed. And then it was just like days after that this entire department was gutted, and he and many others lost their jobs. He also was supposed to not be a part of these firings because the part of the FAA that he worked for was focused on national security threats. But then, regardless of this, he was fired, and and he was fired by Doge, Doggy, what have you.
I feel like my free speech is protected. I mean, because Elon Musk is such a free speech guy.
Yeah.
He's like really huge free speech guy.
Big free speech guy.
He talks about it on fucking X all the time.
The reason why he bought X, the everything app.
And so it's really comforting to know that if you talk bad about him, exercise your free speech
on your personal social media
page, that you might be fired.
Yes.
So
from your really, really important job where you make sure that, well, in Spitzer Statlander's case, is making sure that like terrorists aren't bombing us.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like American terrorists aren't bringing
any kind of terrorism.
bombs. Any terrorist, your run-of-the-mill terrorist isn't existing. And, you know, also that, like, the rest of this administration, which makes sure that, like, you know, planes aren't fucking smashing into each other. That's all. That could just be ripped away in a day because you expressed a personal opinion on Facebook.
Didn't like Elon Musk doing a Nazi salute.
Yeah.
I was also going to say that for, like, the fucking CDC thing is it's like, God, like, for people who talk about free speech, every other fucking sentence, dude, seems like they don't really actually care about letting people express things, like, and talk. Like, it's, I mean, but, you know, that's like the oldest fucking right-wing trick in the book. Is like,
I mean, they don't actually...
free speech, you know, and then it's like, if you say something they don't like, it's like, well, that's not free speech.
Free speech, except for if the, like, peer-reviewed scientific article that you publish to, like, you know, about, like, American citizens' health has the word, like, gay in it or, like, pregnant person in it, we're ripping it down.
So, sorry. Tangent.
Please.
I just, you know, fucking free speech
this
seems
is why we're here.
Cool. And I like having that, and I would prefer to not have it.
I would prefer if, like, my rights to free speech were actually being protected.
And it would be really cool to be able to talk freely and not be terrified of anything. So.
Of, like, not only, like, possibly losing my job, but, like, an entire government agency that's, like, a really, really important one being gutted.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And as a direct result of that, planes are falling out of the fucking sky.
And I can only imagine that he was, like, not, like, crude or anything on his, like, post. He was probably like, I don't support Elon doing this Nazi symbol.
Yes. Particularly as a Jewish guy. So we should not support
his company, which is, again, within anybody's right to say, don't support this company.
Let's not monetarily support this person that's a Nazi.
Yeah, like, I'm sure it was super fucking, like...
Yeah, I'm sure it was, like...
rather respectful.
Not slander or whatever. Which, if you wanted to slander, you should actually still be able to do that as well. Well, not slander, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's, again, talking about something he actually did.
Yeah, a real thing. A real thing that happened. We're doing so good. I'm feeling so good right now.
Trump signed an executive order to bring more U.S. troops to the border to crack down on immigration.
Yes.
The Pentagon has deployed active duty troops to the border. I don't know. I think there was some down there before, but they're bringing more. And so it's not even just your normal border patrol. Right. It's like actual fucking military troops. Quote from AP News. The Pentagon has been scrambling to put in motion Trump's executive orders signed shortly after he took office on January 20th. The first group of 1,600 active duty troops has already deployed to the border.
Good God.
And close to 500 more soldiers from the 10th Mountain Division are expected to begin moving in the coming days. Oh, yeah. Gotta be my favorite division. 500 Marines have also been deployed to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, to prepare for an influx of immigrant prisoners to fulfill other support duties. Now, not to be alarmist, Phoebe, but I'm pretty sure they torture people at Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, last time I had checked, I do believe that's what Guantanamo Bay was there for.
The torture place. It's America's, like, little torture island.
It is. Yes, it's our special little torture island.
Where we torture people.
Where we bring people to torture them. In fact, who was it that we were talking about? I believe they were a presidential candidate and they had worked at Guantanamo Bay doing, like, force-feeding people.
Oh.
Who was it?
Was it when we were talking about the election and all the people?
Yes, I believe so.
Oh, man. I'm trying to remember.
What special little star did that?
Oh, man. Who was even running? I can't.
Dude, I mean, that feels like...
Because I remember I did Nikki Haley,
That's
I think was
right.
her name.
Yeah.
But we did more.
Yeah, I know. Anyway.
Just another bead in the friendship bracelet that is American fascism. And the militarization of police, and in this case, they actually are the military being sent to support Border Patrol. Again, it's like preaching to the choir. I don't think we need to convince anyone listening to this podcast why telling people that they're illegal because they cross an imaginary line we made up and sending in troops with guns who will definitely shoot them.
Yes.
Is horrific.
Yes.
And will only lead to more separation of families, as well as inhuman treatment of immigrants. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sure they still have like the cages, and I'm sure they're still separating families and fucking, displacing children, and it's gonna just get worse.
Yeah, I wanted to actually. I'm glad you brought this up because there was on the White House Instagram.
POTUS, dude.
Yeah,
I follow the POTUS Instagram too.
There we go. The White House Instagram. They've been posting like all these little like cool stuff. Here's some cool stuff that's happening in your country. And
fun fact.
Where is the post? They had this like celebratory post that was a mass deportation flight. Oh, here it is. It's a video of a plane taking off that is like, I guess, filled with immigrants, undocumented immigrants, and it says ASMR, illegal alien deportation flight, and it's like,
oh god,
the noises. These are handcuffs being placed on the ground.
Oh my.
This is the sound of a guy walking into the plane who's all shackled. Again, more like people that are shackled, and they literally are making like a silly little ASMR fucking video of it.
God, dude.
Yeah, I was
what
like,
the fuck?
That's the most evil thing I've ever seen in my life.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
What are we doing? And that's the White House Instagram, like
you
the official
ASMR.
Government. Yeah, you're doing ASMR of like ripping people away from the country that they live in.
Oh my god, that's got to be the most evil
at a mass level.
Wow, it just is still getting topped, dude. It's
I know.
Crazy.
Once again, like you still managed to surprise me.
Wow, and and it's like you were saying, it's like Elon Musk's brain only works in fucking memes, and I'm sure he's polluting Donald Trump's mind with fucking memes.
Exactly.
And like, oh, this would be funny if we did an ASMR video. It's fuck off, dude.
I know.
I'm so fucking.
I hate him so fucking much. He's such a like. Oh my god, you're so fucking stupid. You are so
a slimy little snivelly bitch.
Yeah, you're like a little. You're just like a little fucking pathetic little slug. Who
isn't smart.
No, you're so stupid. You're so fucking ugly. You are the most grotesque. He is the most grotesque looking person I have ever seen in my life.
Oh my god, yeah. It's crazy that I don't know. I can't even imagine why, like, I don't know why people like him. He's not good at anything.
Nothing.
Because it's like, okay, so like at least, right? Like, I'm not saying you should like any billionaire.
Yes.
They're all bad.
Yeah.
But it's like, and you can explain away like, oh, like fucking Bill Gates was able to like access computers way before anybody else was because he came from a wealthy family. Steve Jobs had like all this fucking money that is, whoever gave him.
Absolutely.
Yada, yada, yada. But it like at least like if you're a Bill Gates stan or who the fuck ever, like Steve Jobs, it's like at least they like did something that was like kind of revolutionary.
And you can say like without argument that like they are smart people. Like they are very intelligent and like created something and like
we're at like the forefront
and did the work. This is work that they figured it out themselves. This is from their own brains.
Yeah, exactly.
Elon Musk is a fucking dumb fuck, brain dead, dumbass idiot. He is so fucking stupid. He can't even say a sentence. He's so fucking dumb and stupid. Nothing he owns. Nothing that he is selling is his own idea or his own creation, or he did zero of the science for any of it, or zero of the work for any of it. He just is a fucking ugly, weird-looking rich guy who sits there and like points to somebody and is like, make me a flying car.
Yeah.
And then these poor
overworked engineer has
these
to do
poor
it.
like genius engineers are like, fuck, okay.
Okay.
Guys, we got to figure out how to make a flying car now.
I'm so excited to work for Tesla.
Sorry.
And now I'm not. I'm so excited to work for fucking what's the SpaceX?
Oh, SpaceX.
Yeah, and even then it's like I maybe take Steve Jobs off that list because it was really fucking Steve Wozniak or whatever.
This is
that
also
did
true.
All of the like heavy lifting for Apple, but
that is true.
Whatever, but like,
right.
Again, you get what I'm saying. Like, at least like they did something,
right?
At least they like had an idea once,
and
like
right,
had a dream, and like Elon Musk is devoid of anything. Like he's devoid of creativity. He just like wants to make money,
exactly,
and exploit engineers that work for him.
And the memes he makes aren't even funny.
He's not even good at memes.
He's not even good at memes, and that's like the only thing he gives a fuck about. He's not even good at that. They're not good or funny at all.
The right is terrible at memes.
They're so bad at comedy. It's unbelievable.
And I know that they've said that about the left, and I'm like, I feel like, and again, I don't know, I'm biased, I'm left, I understand, but like, I feel like the right's idea of comedy is just like saying a slur,
right?
Like, wow, this is funny. Whereas, like, I feel like I don't know. I feel like the left, we have to, like, work harder to make things funny, and it's got to be, like, actually funny, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you'll see, like, the right, and they'll just make some edgy joke that has a slur in it, and it's like, wow, aren't we so funny? Or they'll be like,
my pronouns are great guy. Or, like, my pronouns are Donald/Trump or something. Like
fuck off,
it's like,
dude.
Yep, you're still making that same joke. And, like, I don't know, I'm over here laughing.
Apache helicopter fucking ass joke that, like, everybody was saying 10 years ago.
Exactly.
Like, fuck off,
exactly.
Dude.
And, like, I'm over here laughing at, like, a picture of, like, a wildcat that says, like, I hate my gay Chungus life or something, you know?
Exactly, dude. It's like, no, literally. I think I talked about this in like the last episode, but there's this meme I keep seeing that's like, it's like an anarchist looking like punk guy, and it's like I just want everybody's needs to be met, and then it's like the left, and then there's another guy, it's like the right, and it's like we should exterminate an entire population of people.
Exactly.
And then it's another person who's like centrist, and it's like I can't tell these two apart.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh my god,
it's so fucking real.
Crazy.
It's too real.
How are you still
right? It's like, I just think it's extreme on both sides.
And it's like, what do you mean? The left is starting mutual aid programs.
Exactly.
Like, they're trying to feed hungry people. What do you mean you can't decide?
Yeah. And also, I'm like, if you're thinking that, like, because, you know, always, like, Democrats are being conflated with, like, anarchists or whatever.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
always.
Okay, if you're thinking that the Democrats are, like, quote unquote too extreme, wwho literally sat there and did nothing.
Did absolutely nothing.
I'm like, what's going to be okay? What's safe for you, centrist?
Literally.
Like, I don't know what.
Again,
Joe Biden was too scary for you.
Joe Biden is radical communism.
Exactly.
Like, he had a vice president who was a woman. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I can't. God. I just, I need to cry, probably.
I probably will do that later.
Well, that's all I had.
Nice.
Things are good.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
I think we can pretty much close up the podcast now. No need for,
Done. It's over. There's nothing to complain about anymore. Yeah.
I think our work here is done.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Good work, comrades.
Yeah. I feel like it was just time that first of all, that we just had a good old fashioned yell about this and let you guys listen in. And, just like, let's talk, there's, like we have said about 100 times probably this episode, like there's so much that has been happening in such a short amount of time that it's like these things kind of get lost and buried underneath like all of, and also, it gets buried underneath the antics, like the news of, the FAA firings gets buried under Elon did a Nazi salute. Like, so
the Gulf of America.
Exactly. And it's like, I don't know, I think it's important to like dig deep and just like talk about like
Yeah.
The awful.
And I don't know if you do this ever, but like I'm like a chronic like talk to myself kind of person.
Yeah, for sure.
And then talk to Moonshine too if she's
Yes.
in the room. I like always am just like spouting my thoughts
Shooting
to her.
the shit.
But like I feel like being able to like articulate your feelings about these things and like actually say them out loud is helpful to me at least.
No,
whether
I
you're
agree.
talking to yourself or on a podcast or whatever you do.
Yep.
But like I feel like if you haven't, maybe try it. Maybe try just like rant with some people who are like-minded, because it really does make you feel.
It does.
I don't know, better.
It certainly gets me like, I'm fired up and I'm like upset right now, but I can't just sit here and like hold this all inside, you know, like, because it makes me feel too crazy. And like, I feel like
insane.
We spend so much of our time kind of dissociating from at least this part of reality. Yeah. Because it would be, you couldn't exist as a human being. Like I would just be laying on my floor and like not moving, or I would be like going and like buying armored vehicles or something. Like, and I don't have that choice because I have to like pay for, you know, I have to pay my medical bills, and I have to like get money.
We get that sick armored vehicle sponsorship.
That's true, and we will take it.
And I will take that.
Humvee, if you're listening.
That and Chumba Casino are the two that I really want.
Either or, honestly. But I mean, I think it's just like, I think that we spend so much time sort of pushing these feelings away because we can't feel these all of the time, that like it is so necessary to like sit down and like, maybe it's a rant or whatever, but like, I mean, we need to talk about these fucking things, and we need to like, even if it's maybe a not like quote unquote not a productive conversation or whatever with a friend of yours, like still like, it's like, we can't just like hold all of this like anxiety. I can't remember if I said this on air. I think I said it off air, but anyway, I was telling Taylor today, like earlier today, I don't know, it was like almost like when I woke up, I just all of a sudden felt like a lot of stress, and I couldn't really tell where it was coming from. And I was like, maybe I'm feeling stressed because I have like a lot of little chores to get done, and I'm starting my week, and I don't work Monday, so I have like my Sunday scaries maybe on Monday or something. And I was just sort of like moving around my house and like doing my little chores and what have you, and feeling this stress and whatever. And and it kind of dawned on me as we were talking, I'm like, actually, I think maybe like this stress that I'm feeling is just this like background stress of like all of these insane, horrible, like I actually feel a lot better. And I was feeling better before you came over, but I'm actually feeling like so much better even now. I'm just feeling a little more like, okay, you know what? Like I got that energy out of my body, and now I can kind of move forward. And like, I'm upset still, but like, rather than just trying to hold this in and like pretend it isn't happening, or it's like nagging and like scratching at the back of my neck and like is like, I'm here, everything's horrible. Like I can actually just like get this out rather than trying to ignore it or pretend it's not happening, or just having it be there and this noise in the background. Like I'm actually addressing that there is like a monster in the room, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think like, you know, go to therapy. It's with a licensed
Everybody
therapy.
Do it.
With a licensed therapist. But like that's the whole idea behind, I guess, like therapy is like a safe place to express how you feel and to get things off your chest. You can't just like talk about all the time, because if you did, and if you were thinking about them all the time, you would collapse and break down and you wouldn't be able to function. Like, and I think that's the whole idea. And I think that having like a group of friends or somebody that you can at least talk to and like express
and just,
things
like,
to is nice.
And get your fears off your chest too. I mean, taking it back to the podcast, like when I listen to podcasts where, you know, we talk about, or I say we, because I'm just about to say what I do when I do this, where like, you know, the hosts are talking about these kind of subjects, I speak out loud.
Yeah, totally.
Like as if I'm talking to them, because it makes me feel, because, you know, this is a person who's well informed about like a subject that I care about, and it feels like it helps release that energy, you know, when I'm listening to a podcast and I'm hearing people talk about like these subjects that I'm passionate about, and, you know, scary things that are happening in our world. Like I will talk out loud and talk back to the hosts or whatever, and like be like, yeah, oh my God, that thing, or like express my opinion or whatever. And like, it does kind of help because again, it's just getting that energy like out of me.
Absolutely.
So anyway, pretend we're hearing you because we are hearing you right now.
And you can comment on things we have if you want to.
And you're so right. What you just said is so true.
Oh, so accurate. Yeah, I agree.
Keep screaming in your car right now.
Speaking of places you can comment.
Yeah.
Twitter.com, Twitter.com.
Whatever
it's called. At Remarks Pod. I've been kind of posting the episodes and stuff there again, so it's been nice.
You can go to Instagram, which is at Remarks Podcast, and, trauma dump on there. Who fucking cares?
Please.
Tell us your feelings.
Please. Tag us in something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Why not?
who cares? Tell us, comment your horrors.
Then there are the horrors, of course.
There are the horror. Of course, there's always the horrors.
Patreon, we do have one of those. You can support us if you like what you hear and get some bonus episodes
that are usually lighter, funnier, whatever.
They're a good little like mouthwash, I feel.
Yes, I agree.
Eye bleach, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You can find me on actuallyEverythingApp.com, which is at Phoebes Elise.
Yep. And my personal Instagram is tlace_19.
I love how we have to like be like, is that my handle?
Is that what it is? And I post stuff about music and whatnot. You can listen to my music and find it all there.
Yeah, and speaking of like cathartic things, I feel like Tayler has some great music that you're like, oh wow, like I can think about the mine town rebellions and think that like, wow, political movements have worked in the past, or like I can listen and think about like how other people do also think that leaders are a bad idea. And it's comforting and it's nice.
It is funny because I don't know if it's because of the election or what, but like the song Jesus is a Communist is blowing up.
No way. That's awesome.
It's like I get like a ton of streams every day on that song.
That's so I fucking
I guess
love
a ton
that.
in respect to me is like,
sure, exactly.
Like 40 streams or whatever.
Still,
like a day,
that's
which
big.
is still like great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very funny. But that's it. We've been ranting for 2 hours. So
wow,
I'll let you go.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, well, that's all, folks.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Okay, love you.
Bye.